everyone, and welcome. If you've ever glanced at the world of Java and thought, whoa, where do I even start? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to lay out a clear step-by-step roadmap that'll take you from being just curious about Java to feeling like a confident pro. So let's get started.
This is the big question, right? It can feel like you're standing at the bottom of a huge mountain. You look at job descriptions, you see this laundry list of technologies, and you're just not sure which way is up. But here's the thing. It's not some big secret. It's a journey. And lucky for us, every journey has a map.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. Our goal is to turn that intimidating mountain into a well-lit path. We're not just going to point to the top and say, good luck. We're handing you the map for the entire trip.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start by getting a feel for the Java landscape. Then we'll get our hands dirty building a solid foundation. After that, it's time for reaching the next level with some advanced stuff. Then we'll gear up with the professional toolkit, and finally, we'll help you in charting your path forward.
Okay, first things first, let's get the lay of the land. Before you write a single line of code, you kind of need to know the world your code is going to live in. This means understanding the difference between a few key acronyms. You've got the JVM, the Java Virtual Machine. That's the magic that lets your code run on any computer. Then there's the JRE, the runtime environment, which has all the libraries and files your code needs to actually work. And finally, the JDK, the development kit. That's your toolbox. It's got everything you need to write and compile your code. You got to know the terrain before you start the hike, right? Now for what is, without a doubt, the most important part, building your foundation. Seriously, you wouldn't build a skyscraper on sand, and you absolutely can't build a lasting career on a shaky understanding of the basics. This is where you get really, really good at core Java. And these are the pillars of that foundation. It all kicks off with the basics, variables, loops, the simple stuff. Then you dive into the absolute heart of Java, object-oriented programming. Once you've got that, it's all about handling data with arrays, strings, and the super powerful collections framework. And finally, you tackle some heavier concepts like multi-threading, which is basically doing multiple things at once and handling input and output. Inside that foundation, there's one skill that really separates the beginners from the pros. It's knowing what to do when things go wrong. Because let's be real, code breaks all the time. That's just a fact of life. Professional code doesn't just work when everything's perfect. It plans for things to break and handles it gracefully. And that's called exception handling. So when things do go wrong, Java kind of puts errors into two big buckets. On one side, you have checked exceptions. Think of these as predictable problems. Java is smart enough to see a potential issue, like, hey, you're trying to read a file, but what if it's not there? And it actually forces you to make a backup plan before it'll even run your code. Then on the other side, you have unchecked exceptions. These are the surprises, the things that pop up while the program is running, like a user trying to divide a number by 0. You can plan for them, but you don't have to. Okay, so your foundation is rock solid. Now it's time to start building the rest of that skyscraper. This is where you go from someone who can write Java to someone who writes modern, efficient, and honestly beautiful Java code. And probably the biggest single leap into modern Java happened with the release of Java 8. It wasn't just an update, it fundamentally changed how developers write code. It introduced some game-changing features that make your code so much cleaner and more expressive. Let's look at the two big ones. First up, Lambda expressions. Now, this sounds way more complicated than it is. The idea is simple. What if, instead of just passing data into a function, you could pass a little piece of behavior, a little action? That's a Lambda. It is a total game changer because it lets you write so much less code and focus on what you want to do, not the nitty-gritty of how you're doing it.
And Lambdas get even cooler when you use them with the Stream API. This lets you take a whole collection of stuff, like, say, a list of 1,000 users, and perform a whole chain of operations on it, one after another. You can filter the list, transform every item, and gather the results, all in one clean, readable line of code. It's so much better than writing a bunch of messy loops. It's just elegant. And of course, it doesn't stop with just Java 8. The advanced path has a few other key stops. You'll want to learn generics for writing safer code and JDBC for connecting your apps to databases. You might even peek under the hood at how the JVM works to squeeze out more performance. And, crucially, you'll study design patterns. These are like the proven recipes for solving common coding problems. So you've mastered the language, both core and advanced. Now what?
Well, now you get your professional toolkit. See, no developer works in a bubble. They rely on this rich ecosystem of tools and frameworks to actually build, test, and ship real-world software. It all starts with build tools. Think of these as your automated project managers. Tools like Maven and Gradle do the boring work for you. They automatically download all the extra code libraries your project needs and then package everything up neatly so it can be run anywhere. Next up, testing. Look, professionals don't just hope their code works, they prove it works. Frameworks like JUnit are the gold standard for writing little tests that check every single piece of your application. It's all about ensuring quality and catching bugs before they cause real problems. And finally, the big one, frameworks for building actual applications. Spring is the undisputed king of the castle here. It's this massive, powerful framework for just about any big project you can imagine. But in the modern cloud world, you also have these newer, leaner frameworks like Quarkus, which are built to be lightning fast. Knowing when to build the powerful castle and when to launch the speedy rocket, that's a key professional skill. So, here we are. We've reached the end of our map. We've looked over the landscape, we've built a rock-solid foundation, we climbed into the advanced territory, and we've packed a full professional toolkit. You can see it now, can't you? You can see how each piece connects to the next, building up from the basics all the way to a complete professional skill set. The path is all laid out for you. So, I guess the only question left is the most exciting one of all. Learning all this stuff, it's not just about learning a language. It's about getting the power to create, to build things. So, with this map in your hand, what incredible thing are you going to build?